If you don't define your brand, someone else will, and they might not get it right. Google yourself. It blows my mind how many people that I work with have not even Googled their own name and their own company. One of the big challenges people are having right now, if you ask guys like Joe Rogan and others, is their identities being hijacked. People are taking their identity and using it for other purposes or piggybacking it. Remember, reputation is a living asset. It needs upkeep. And if you think of your reputation and your authority as an asset, what's going to happen is you're going to treat it like a valuable asset that gives you a return. Remind yourself every day, it's never too late to start living the life that you're meant to live. But you got to take action. You got to get moving today. All right, here's the reality. Your reputation is being shaped right now, whether you're paying attention to it or not. And if you're not controlling the narrative, somebody else is going to. And they may not tell the story that you want. In today's business world, authority is the new currency. So the more intentional you are about how you present yourself, the more opportunities you're going to attract, the better trust you're going to have and you're going to build for your clients, and the less vulnerable you are to misrepresentation. Today, I want to walk you through how to own your narrative and your media before someone else does. So listen, I work with clients all the time. I've been building global brands for 30 years, and I can't tell you how many times I've worked with people, and the first thing I do is Google their name, and something pops up there that they don't want to have pop up. It might have been some bad business deal. It might have been some negative press that they had. But the bottom line is, if you haven't built a good foundation online, then it's going to be very difficult for you to be intentional with your brand and your story and everything else. And so it reminded me of a quote that I heard early in my career. If you don't define your brand, someone else will, and they might not get it right. And that really stuck with me. And in this age right now of this marketplace, silence is not neutral. It's actually a vacuum. You will become invisible. And not only that, one of the big problems that a lot of people are dealing with is the challenges of their authority being hijacked. So let's talk today about how you can control the narrative, and I'll give you the framework that you can use to get that going. Let's start with this. First, you've got to audit your current reputation. Google yourself. It blows my mind how many people that I work with have not even Googled their own name and their own company. Google yourself and look through the first 2 pages of results. Go through your LinkedIn, go through your social profile, but find out what is being said about you. And then ask your trusted partners and peers, what's the first impression you get from my presence online? What do you know about me from my presence online? And get feedback. This isn't about your ego. It's about knowing where you're starting from. Now, with my clients, I always take them through our authority scorecard. You can go catch that on authoritymedianetwork.com. But the scorecard is 10 questions that you can ask yourself that help to understand what your level of awareness and authority is. Because the bottom line is you can't improve what you don't know. And so you've got to start by auditing your reputation. Then what you have to do is you have to, once you have kind of this baseline, then it's time to create your core brand story. What do I mean by that? I know people that are doing interviews like crazy right now. They're out there promoting their books, they're promoting their products, but people don't really know what you're doing. We're talking about controlling the narrative. So who are you? Who do you serve? What do you do? What separates you from your competition? And what results can people expect when they work with you? So your story the story is where you start. And it basically have 3 parts. You have your origin. Where did you come from? You've got the transformation, which talks about, what you overcame, what qualifies you to be an expert, what is the background that really helps you, and then the destination, where you are now and how you're helping others take that forward. This is the first section of what I usually do when I do an interview with guests, is I want to know their background, not just because people want to know who you are. They want to know where you came from and what qualifies you to do and be the authority of what you're talking about. And this story becomes the filter for every piece. It's the starting point of every piece of content that you put into the world. Your background, it shifts then into your actual market and message. So once you have that background piece, then the idea is you really have to clearly identify who your ideal client is. Because no matter where you're speaking, there's a lot of different people hearing your message. But no matter who or where you're speaking, your message, if it's targeted to your ideal client, will cut through the noise. So you've got to define who it is that you serve. What is the problem that you help that person solve? What is the solution that you're bringing them to the table? When you have your background of credibility and then you talk specifically to your client, and that narrative is something that you have scripted. And when I say scripted, I do mean that. You don't want to stumble around and fumble. I know some people that are experts at what they do, and when they're asked what they do, they just kind of stumble around. If it's worth communicating, it's worth determining what that message is going to be and scripting it. Once you have that, you've kind of audited, you got a little foundation, you've created your talking points in your message, then the idea is you've got to start to build some assets. And it's not important to just get things out there as much as it is the right things. Authority assets. You want to be serving both SEO as well as AI search. And AI is looking for thought leadership, articles, podcasts, media appearances, keynote clips. You need to showcase your testimonials and case studies. You've got to secure your position in magazines or podcasts or things like that. You've got to add credible authority assets. And these assets will become digital proof that you are who you say you are. One of the big challenges people are having right now, if you ask guys like Joe Rogan and others, is their identities being hijacked. People are taking their identity and using it for other purposes or piggybacking it. And if you are not out there with digital proof of who you really are and what you truly believe, it's very hard for you to protect your assets, protect your digital identity, but also your authority. So you've got a foundation. You've done a good job of really scripting it up, and then you've started to put it into core assets. Then the goal is for you to own the first few pages of Google and get in those AI searches. And you've got to publish consistently. This is what it really boils down to. If you want to be an authority, you've got to put out your blogs, put out your press releases, put out your articles. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but there are some AI automations right now that will help to automate all this for you. That's why, like when I do interviews, and I've mentioned this to you before, one video interview can turn into, through AI automations, a long form YouTube video, a podcast that's syndicated, an article in a magazine, and even a long form blog transcript. And it will automatically be cut up into snippets and reels. This is why you truly can, with a little bit of time and automation, spend 1 hour a week and get seen by millions of people. But the goal, the key here of owning your authority and controlling your narrative is that you've got to be consistent. When someone searches your name, the first 10 results are exactly what you want them to see. They're not random. And so this is the blueprint that you need to start to think about. And then that final step for you to truly, at the end of the day, truly own your reputation before someone else does, is that final step is you've got to actively manage the ongoing story. Things are moving too fast in time that you should be consistently monitoring your mentions and your search results and where you are, so that if misinformation gets out there, you're aware of it. Remember, reputation is a living asset. It needs upkeep. And if you think of your reputation and your authority as an asset, which I talk about all the time, an asset, what's going to happen is you're going to treat it like a valuable asset that gives you a return. And so you want to upkeep it. You want to maintain it. You want to put time and energy into it. Now, let me tell you why this is all important to you, because people make decisions about you before they meet you. That's just the way the market is right now. And often within seconds of a Google search or looking at your LinkedIn, they size it up. And a strong narrative builds trust. It attracts more opportunities. It protects against false or outdated information. And what it'll do is it'll really set you up to get you speed of trust. Means you will have trust before you even engage in conversations, which helps you to convert more leads, get more lifetime value, get more profit and long-term revenue from your clients. So controlling the narrative will really turn you from a reactive market participant to a proactive in having a personal brand. And so I hope this is an episode that's a little bit more strategic and tactical for you. It's given you some thought to be able to build and grow your personal brand and your authority. And if so, I would love to hear from you. What's working for you? What are you struggling with? Let me know what I can do to help you. If you head over to Daily Mastermind, or even if you go to authoritymedianetwork.com, you're going to see we've got the scorecards on there for free. You can, opt into our formula course for free. There's a lot of great resources for you. So do me a favor, take a few minutes, go over there, do this. Even if you're doing it on your own, audit where you're at. Put some time and energy into, and I promise you, your brand will take you to the next level. And when you build authority, it will compound all your efforts. So that's my message for today. Do me a favor and share this show. I'd really appreciate it. It would help us to spread the message, especially if you've learned something here. Do me a favor and get it out there. Tag me in your post, by the way, because I'd love to be able to comment and see what you're up to. And once again, remind yourself every day, it's never too late to start living the life that you're meant to live. But you got to take action. You got to get moving today. So once again, this is George Wright III. This has been the Daily Mastermind. Have a phenomenal day. I'll talk with you tomorrow.